December 15th, 2013. Guys, I want to look at the book of Enoch, and I want to talk about why it was taken out here in the end times when it had some of the most critical information that we could possibly have. But guys, in the 1800s, there was a movement during that last great, what they call one of the Western revivals, to stop it because they knew that Satan had but a short time and they took it out. But this is telling about Enoch, and we should qualify him because it was taken out back in the 1800s, so a lot of people aren't used to it, and it would sound strange, but Old Testament, Genesis, Enoch walked with God after he begot Methuselah. Enoch was 365 years, and Enoch walked with God. He was not, and God took him. This is how important Enoch was. He was the seventh son of Adam, guys. He was the son of Seth. He was seventh. Then you went all the way down through Lamech. Then you come into Noah, all the way to Christ. That bloodline was preserved. The Bible is the story of Adam to Christ, his story. That is what we're talking about here. Now, also in the New Testament, Enoch is requalified. But what happens in Genesis 5:24 when he said God took him, that is the last time that the Bible talks about him, anything about him other than in the New Testament where they mention his name. In Luke it says, which was the son of Methuselah, which was the son of Enoch, which was the son of Jared, down through Malaleel, Canaan, Enos, Seth, and Seth was the son of Adam. Adam was the son of God. Hebrews, Paul said, by faith Enoch was translated that he should not see death, was not found because God had translated him. Why? Before his translation, he had testimony that he pleased God. And you're going to take that out of the book, guys. What did Christ say about taking it out? Things out of the Bible. He's going to take your name out of the book of life. So all you evil priests that did this and you people now that try to stop the book of Enoch from coming forward, you were the same ones that burned the witches that were not witches. You were the same ones that cried, crucify him, crucify him. But God sent Enoch, Noah's grandfather, to warn him of the flood. And this was not talked about, but it is in the book of Enoch. But it says, by faith, Noah being warned of God of things not seen as yet, moved with fear, prepared an ark to the saving of his house. Then into Jude, guys, the book where Enoch was supposed to be right beside until the 1800s, says, and Enoch also, the seventh from Adam, prophesies of these things, saying, behold, the Lord coming with 10,000 of his saints to execute judgment upon all and to convince all that are ungodly among them of all their ungodly deeds, which they have ungodly committed, and of all their hard speeches, which ungodly sinners have spoken against them. Now, again, Jude, Paul, and Luke, they're just talking about part of history of Enoch. But in Genesis, this is actually the last time that we're told what Enoch did other than what was talked about in the New Testament. Where is that gap? Where did Paul and Luke and Jude get their information? It was in the book of Enoch, which was also found, guys, in the Dead Sea Scrolls. It was theirs, and it tells a lot of truth. And if you're afraid of the truth, don't read it, but you're going to be caught off guard if you don't. And we were reminded that that book can be sweet to the taste and bitter to the belly. How much courage do you have? Now, in chapter 12 of the book of Enoch, it goes right in here and talks about he sent Uriel to the son of Lamech. Now, down in you see it was Enoch, then Lamech, then Noah. Okay. That's showing that Enoch is who he's talking about. He said, go to Noah and tell him in my name, hide thyself. This goes on to talk about the flood. You can read it. And he says, the Lord said to Raphael, who was one of the good angels. Remember that this explains so much, this book. There was a group of angels assigned to heaven. There was a group assigned to watch earth and look over it. Raphael, Michael, that group were the good angels. Azazel were the ones that saw the daughters of men. That's where our giants, and that's the beginning of the evil spirits and what we are dealing with today in our political situation, this one world system. But it says, take Azazel and cast him into the darkness and make an opening in the desert, which is Duodale. Cast him in there, place upon him rough and jagged rocks, he may not see light. Guys, you can pause that. But he's talking about Mount Hermon. You can trace this back. This is, it's called the mountain of the chief, Jabal. All right, and who was Jabal? He was the descendant of Cain, the son of Lamech and Ada. Now, this Lamech is a different set. If you notice in the generations of Cain, that he tried to mimic everything that Adam did, just the way that Satan mimics Christ. But here's Mount Hermon, and it is a part of a protected area by the United Nations, guys. Right in the middle of all this battlefield, they got a ski resort right up there. But they're talking about Mount Hermon. Now, in the book of Enoch, we're dealing with two groups of angels. We are in throughout the whole Bible, but he really points it out here. You've got, again, the watchers of the earth that fell and the watchers in heaven. Now, what happened when the watchers fell? Enoch came down and told that group of angels, again, this was a powerful person in God's eyes, told them that their life had been cut to 500 years. No longer were they eternal like the angels in heaven, but that their spirits would continue, and they would be what was called the evil spirits. And that's what we're dealing with today in this one world power system, guys. They are still here. It talks about it. It talks about they will not be destroyed until the great consummation. There's a one-time deal when all evil is wiped out. But guys, coming up in part 2, I'm going to show you an exact parallel, the parable of tares in this book of Enoch. It's a heads up, be safe.